they are worse. I think they're worse solely because the Bud Dupree departure.
Sure.
I do think Alex Highsmith is going to come in and play really well. But to play to Bud's level, that's a lot to ask in Alex's first year as the 17 game starter. So I think that's the big question mark for me. But behind Alex, it's interesting because I do like the depth a little bit more now. When you talk about the guys we were able to bring in, a guy like Quincy Roche, I like him a lot. Obviously, Cassius Marsh is a guy who he might not be the best in terms of run support, but he's been in this league for a while, so he still brings experience, right? It counts for something. And then I also like the guy that we picked that we got in free agency, undrafted free agent, Calvin Bundage. I like his game. I like his game as well. So when I think of those guys in comparison or in contrast to last year, where it was Ola, Daney, Tazar Skipper for a little while, and then obviously Cassius Marsh at the end of this thing, Alex Highsmith ended up having to start because Bud went down clearly. But when I just think of that, I think this depth is potentially better. But the top end, we don't have the same level of talent. Now, TJ is going to be TJ. We know that. He's a freak, or in the words of Coach Tommy, he's a freakazoid. He's just visiting from that other planet.
Yeah, could you say he's getting a little bit better this year?
Yeah. Well, he's definitely getting better.
Coming off that Defensive Player of the Year snub, he's going to be motivated.
Yeah, but he's also going to have a lot more attention. Yeah. Because Bud Dupree isn't on the other side, making it where you can't slide protections. You can't, allocate all your resources. Alex Highsmith, I feel like it's more pressure on Alex than it is on TJ. TJ is going to be TJ. And if TJ's numbers take a hit, the reason will be because of the attention that he's got. It'll be the Aaron Donald effect. Oh, Aaron Donald's numbers are down. Well, he's getting triple team. So you still give him the tip of the cap or the nod for that. Whereas with Alex is going to have to earn the right to be doubled, which is different. Took Bud some time to do that. But when he finally got there, now you saw where, man, we got to respect Bud and TJ. And I thought that's when we saw crazy level
best
TJ.
Pass rush doing the league.
It was nuts between those guys. So for me to think that Alex Highsmith is going to come in year one and be on that level, to me, it's just not realistic. And I'm high on Alex. I like Alex, man. But it's just not realistic knowing that position and knowing what they're going to be, just asking him the guys he's going to be going against. He's not even going against the right tackles. Remember, he's going against the $100 million tackles, the dogs, the left tackles. I just, that's my thing with it. I think he's going to play well, but just not to Bud's extent in 2021.
Yeah, my initial reaction was worse. There is the spin, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, where you could say, is it at least a wash, perhaps better? Yeah. The ways you could say it is TJ Watt, he gets better somehow. Maybe just a little incrementally. It's hard to get better from where he's been over these past couple of years. But either way, he's hitting his prime. Maybe he gets a little bit better. We only had Bud Dupree for 11 games last year. So could you say Alex Highsmith, full season coming into his sophomore year versus Bud Dupree in 11 games last year? Could that be a wash? I'm still probably taking Bud Dupree, but then you mentioned the depth. If you add all that together, could you make it close? Bud Dupree was on like a double-digit sack year last year. He was on a Pro Bowl.
Back-to-back double-digit years too, bro.
That's tough. Like even though he only played 11 games, him and TJ like that, and having Alex Highsmith as your third guy, that's tough to beat. So I am leaning worse. There is a spin you could take, though. If Alex Highsmith lives up to how everyone's thinking, if you could get him double-digit sacks for a full season, then that's a no-brainer. But is that too much to ask, or is that you think that's a reach right now?
Well, the only reason I think it's a reach is because I know how hard it is to get double-digit sacks in a season. It could be very difficult. And when I think of some of the factors that are going to be playing,
or even 8, if you got 8 or 9 though.
No, 8 or 9 is still, that's a ton of sacks. But the thing that I think is going to hurt him a little bit is where the secondary is. Typically as pass rushers, if you're a younger pass rusher trying to come into it, you want to have good corners out there that can cover a little bit longer, because you might not be as polished as you should be, or as you could be, or will grow into. So if you have guys that can cover a little bit longer, quarterback has to hold the ball a little bit longer. Now you're able to get a sack. They don't care if the sack took 5 seconds versus 3 seconds. Sack is a sack. That's how it goes, right? So when I think of Alex, I'm just saying, man, if our cornerback room, which we've said we do think is worse than last year, if that takes a step back and that continues, if that starts to struggle a little bit, now how is his rush going to be affected by that? You know, because it doesn't matter how good your rush is. If that guy's wide open, it don't matter. We've done that.
If he's getting it out within like 2 or 3 seconds, it don't matter.
You can have the best rush ever. It happens. And you're just like, bro, I cooked him. Oh, but my corner got killed off the line, so it didn't matter. Like, that happens. So
that's a fair point.
That's the only part where I'm thinking of Alex. I'm just like, I can see that potentially hurting him as well.
Okay, yeah. I lean worse, but I could see how it could be better just because of Bud Dupree's injury last year. Like, if Highsmith exceeds expectations this year, maybe Quincy Roche, you throw like 4 or 5 sacks in there, he has some splash plays, and TJ just keeps getting better, then it's a wash, if not better. But just right off the bat, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be
Absolutely.
tough. Because Bud Dupree was awesome. He was great, bro. For us.
He was. I guess I was so happy for that dude, bro. Like, just seeing that growth, that development, being there for it mentally with him, man. Like, it was good to see, man. And
somehow PFF gave him like a 58 or 59 grade last year.
You already know my energy.
Like,
for PFF,
if you watch some of his games, man, like, especially that Giants one right off the bat, or the Broncos one too, like, crazy, crazy,
without a doubt, bro.
He was lighting it up last year.
Past 2 years, bro. Past 2 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.